Folks, a New York appeals court threw out the nearly $500 million civil judgment against Donald Trump. Of course, in February of last year, a New York judge ordered Trump and his co-defendants to pay nearly $364 million to the state, citing what the court called ill-gotten gains. Now, they have been daily fines as well. In the decision, a justice from the appellate division, first judicial department, wrote that the penalty, technically a disgorgement, the Eighth Amendment's prohibition on excessive fines. Now, Trump hailed the decision in a post on Truth Social, claiming he's been totally vindicated, but he hasn't been totally vindicated because the conviction still stands. And of course, Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, has made it clear they're going to appeal that decision. There are a lot of people, Nola, who are saying that, well, here he is, he's getting away with it again. But it's going to get appealed. This thing is going to go to the New York State Supreme Court, and we'll see what happens there. But at the end of the day, his ass still got convicted, and him and his children are still limited in what they can actually do in New York State as a result of this conviction.
Absolutely. And that's what matters. But, you know, we are living in a time where facts and details do not matter. The one thing that Trump has always understood is about perception more than anything. So to his base, absolutely, they're going to count it as a win. You know, they're going to be like, oh, you know, he's putting up all these wins. You have Stephen A. Smith out there talking about he done brokered 6-piece deals. It doesn't matter. Truth and details do not matter any longer. It's all about perception. So he's going to make this seem like it is the best thing ever happened. But to your point, and the thing that people don't often get a chance to see is behind the curtain. And this does have an impact. You think that man, like sitting up in the White House that was once very beautiful, in a people's house that's now, you know, tacky with all those gold ornaments all over the place. You think that man like sitting up there with 34 felonies? No, he does not. Because people will remind him, yes, you are a felon. It doesn't matter what sort of fake W's he tries to throw up. The reality is the reality. And his family will never be embraced in New York like they once were. They're not the kings and queens of anything, only in their fabricated minds and brains. So to your point, Roland, you know, he can tell his base anything he wants to tell them. But the reality of the situation, he's still sitting on 34.
Joy.
34 counts. That's all that counts. That's all that counts. Look, he has a lot of money. He can afford a lot of lawyers. So we know that it was going to be hard for us to really get any money from him. But the point was the conviction, and it's going to be appealed. It's going to be, and if we win, it'll be appealed again, et cetera, et cetera. What is not being erased, vindicated, exonerated are these 34 charges that he was convicted on. Okay. And the other things that he's being barred from accessing in New York. That's all that matters. The rest, I mean, you know, I know we have to talk about it, but when he travels to other countries that have bars on convicted criminals, they got to give him special leave because he's a crook.
Greg.
The law said it.
Yes, Roland. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, no, let me just echo. You know, it's interesting. Tish James, of course, is going to appeal this. What the court did today was affirm the wrongdoing by Trump and the members of the Trump leadership of his corporation, including his two absurd sons, all of them barred from holding office in New York State, 3 years in case of Trump, 2 years case of his sons, I think, or maybe I have it backward. But the point is that, as Attorney General James said today, that was affirmed. But as Dr. Haynes said, as Nola said, perception is reality for many of the lemmings and for the people who don't pay attention. So all you got to do is tweet out total victory and people believe that. Wasn't it an excessive fine? We don't think so, but the court of law thought that it was, and it's going to be appealed. On appeal, maybe the number is lowered, but one thing is for clear, the conviction stands. And at the end of the day, what we are facing in this country is a person who is running roughshod over the perception of the rule of law. And in the short term, what that means is that this grifter, who will be riding around in DC because he is desperately trying to avoid being lashed to his sexual predator dead friend and his living friend, who is now at Club Fed in Texas, another convicted sexual predator. This is what all of this is about for Trump. So in the short term, he can claim this as a victory to his crowd. But in the longer term, what he is signaling is that this is a battle between those who believe in the rule of law and those who don't. The longer this goes on, the more I really think that what will happen on the other end of this Trump era is a redoubling and a recommitment to a different type of society that has never been in this country, and that will only be made possible by those that say, we now have a living, breathing example of what happens when you throw all concepts out of the window. If we survive this moment, I think it's going to be a very interesting aftermath, and I don't think it's going to be a negative one. And today is just going to be one more thing that is put in the annals.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.